Greetings, everyone. I'm Eric Mackey, and I'm one of your trainers for DESE's PBIS Academy. This video is focused on planning for your rollout and implementation of school-wide PBIS. The content for this video was developed by the Center on PBIS and Northeast PBIS. In this video, we'll discuss systems to support staff through your rollout of PBIS, specifically talking about the development of a PBIS handbook, as well as a rollout plan. Your responsibilities will be to finalize your tasks and schedule for your rollout, and to create a handbook which will be submitted via the Canvas system. Hopefully by now, your team has had conversations about your readiness to roll PBIS out to your staff and students for next year. If you're still unsure, it's helpful to consider what pieces are already in place and which ones still need to be developed before school starts. Of course, we'd love for you to have completed all 10 getting started steps before rolling out to your school, but sometimes that's not feasible. Let's not let perfectionism be the enemy of good enough. Some great advice from one of my old supervisors. In the least, your leadership team should be in place, values identified, lessons to teach those values developed, and an acknowledgement system ready to go. If you have those components in place and an action plan to complete the rest during the year, you should be able to move forward with rolling out PBIS to your school. To support your rollout and the sustainability of your PBIS efforts, it's helpful to create PBIS handbooks for your staff and students. They should provide a description of PBIS, your school-wide expectations or values, a copy of your matrix, an explanation of your acknowledgement system, and an overview of consequences for undesirable behaviors or contextually inappropriate behaviors. A staff-specific handbook should include all the tools teachers need to implement PBIS, such as lesson plans, discipline flowcharts, office referral forms, and requests for assistance forms. Remember, we're asking staff to do something new. We want to increase the likelihood that they will actually try on these new behaviors and skills. To accomplish that, we need to give them everything they need in the easiest format to use, and a lot of encouragement and acknowledgement. If you're looking for examples of what your handbook can look like, check out the examples on the NEPBIS website. You can also find links to these examples in the notes of this PowerPoint and on the Canvas site. Each year around this time, you should take stock of which components of PBIS you have in place and which ones need attention. If you build your products using feedback from students and staff, you won't likely need to change your products, like your values, your lessons, and your acknowledgement systems, from year to year. But they may need some subtle tweaks as you align PBIS with other initiatives and continue to incorporate the culture of your community. Being realistic about the status of your getting started steps can help you to plan for the upcoming year. If the steps are still being developed, then your team should have a clear plan for completing those tasks. This is where your action plan can be incredibly helpful. If your getting started steps are complete, but they've never been introduced to your school community, then it's time to plan your first rollout. In future years, when your getting started steps are firmly in place, you can use this time to update and improve your products based on your team's experience and feedback from the community. Thankfully, the energy and time that it takes to roll out PBIS after your first rollout, that tends to be much less intensive as your products have already been developed. It's just about making quick tweaks and updates. There's no need to recreate the wheel from year to year. Actually, please don't. That can exhaust your team. There are many tasks to remember when introducing or reintroducing PBIS to your school community and when setting the tone for the year. It's easy to let a few balls drop. Checklists can help. In a prior module, we introduced the rollout checklist. You can find the link to this document in the Year 1 syllabus for May. If you haven't already, take a moment to go through the checklist to make sure of what's already in place and what still needs to be prepared for the beginning of the school year. So now, as a team, create your school's PBIS handbook or handbooks and submit it or them to your trainers via Canvas. Then review your rollout checklist and finalize your schedule for introducing PBIS to your staff and students. As you do, please consider how and when you will introduce PBIS to your staff, such as how will you prepare them to teach the lessons, to use the acknowledgement systems, and to respond to contextually inappropriate behavior. Also consider how and when you'll introduce PBIS to the students, such as through pep rallies. How are you going to teach and practice the lessons and any school-wide incentives? Thank you for taking the time to review this video following up on your PBIS rollout plans. Please feel free to reach out to your trainers if you have any questions or would like any support in completing your team tasks. Take care.